Hello everybody, welcome to the Planet FPL Gameweek 24 Deadline stream, and it's live. My name's James, and over the next 55 minutes or so I will try and answer as many of your FPL dilemmas as possible ahead of the 6:15 PM UK time Gameweek 24 Deadline. Before submitting a question, I know a load of you love to jump the gun, but before submitting a question, please check the graphics because the answer to your question may be on screen. To the left of me, you'll see my correct score predictions for all 10 games. No, there's not 10 games, is there? There's only fucking 9 of the bastards this week, actually. All 9 games this week in the Premier League. To the right of me, you'll see my team currently ranked 59k. I've made one free transfer. Harry Kane is in and captain ahead of Dominic Calvert-Lewin, but I do not believe he is the best captaincy option this week. That is, in my opinion, Kevin De Bruyne. I have not bought KDB because essentially, if I buy KDB, he's going to block me from buying Mo Salah at the weekend, and that is my intention. I have the money in the bank to do that at the weekend as one free transfer in, most likely for Bernardo Silva. But it could be Leandro Trossard if he hasn't recovered from his bout of COVID. You'll see top 10 captaincy picks, obviously they're below KDB. So in order, De Bruyne, Kane, Bowen, Jota, Cancelo, Salah, Trent, Heung-min Son, Ronaldo, Sterling. If there was an 11th, it was probably Phil Foden. Mikel Antonio's not on there. Ollie Watkins not on there. There are so many good options this week. And there is no better week, in my opinion, to back the player that you, in your opinion, rather than worrying about effective ownership, will be the player who scores the most points. And I believe in my team this week, that's Harry Kane. I'm sure it will come back and bite me because I've been down this route before and it's not worked very well. Not this season anyway, it has in the past. But Harry, what I've seen over the last 3-4 weeks or so, is right back on it. And I believe even in spite of Ronaldo's double in 25, I just don't want to look at him in my team at the moment. So I've gone back for Harry, and that obviously sets me up for his double in 26, the blank in 27, which I intend to run through, and a decent fixture at home to Everton in 28 as well. Below me, you'll see the benching dilemma screen. There are 5 pages worth of players. They'll rotate during the course of the stream. They are in order, and it's player with the tick is the preference between the 2 players. Page 1 will be St. Maximin over King, over Dennis, over Breuer, over Gray. Page 2 is Gray over Maddison, Maddison over Cornet, Cornet over Soufal, Soufal over Dalot. Page 3, Dalot over Tierney, over Aitnori, over Smith Rowe, over Ben Davis. Page 4, Ben Davis over Jacob Ramsey, over Mbumo, over Livramento, over Michael Keane. And for the keepers, you'll see them come round eventually on page 5. De Gea ahead of Ramsdale, Ramsdale over Sarr, Sarr over Nick Pope over Foster. That's your benching dilemmas graphic, and right at the bottom on the grey ticker you'll see next 5 fixtures for all 20 teams. FPL Captain has highlighted the double game weeks for you in blue. Give that man a shout out as ever, he's an absolute superstar. That's FPL Captain with a K, he's the man on the graphics. Right, without further ado, and to my patrons, my Twitter DMs are open just in case we get any unexpected Manchester United team news between now and deadline. I'm not expecting any early news. That'll be an hour and 3/4 before United kick-off. I can't imagine we'll get anything, but if I do get anything that's worthwhile sharing, I will share it with you. Let's get into the questions. FPL Kakar says, if you could pick 2 current managers to do another football podcast with, who would you choose? Oh, Antonio Conte and Maurizio Pochettino, mate. That's the easiest question I'm going to have today, isn't it? Stefan B says, hi, who do you think are the top 3 defenders to replace Alonso? I will likely use first free hit in game week 30, but not in 27. Thanks. Trent, Robertson, Cancelo. Okay, you probably can't afford any of them. So, therefore, you want to... you like use free hit in 30, but not in 27. Okay, so you want to carry through 27 as well. I still think Kieran Tierney is a great shout. Double in 26. As I said on yesterday's podcast, I think they'll likely double against Chelsea in game week 28 as well. They will cover you off 30, although you're obviously free hitting in that week, so that doesn't particularly help you. But I think Kieran Tierney is a great option at the moment. Don't ask me about Tottenham players. I'm not interested in discussing it anymore. Ryan Aitnori at Wolves. Save the money. Spread the money. Absolutely fine. Good option, although their 27 fixture at West Ham is not the best. Cheaper ones you might want to consider. Crystal Palace, Tyreek Mitchell, to throw a name out there as well. Burnley, the time's not right, is it? Although I think it'll be back-to-back doubles for them in 26 and 27 as well, because I'm expecting the Leicester fixture to go into 27. Who else got a good fixture in 27? Be good for you. Brighton, but it's not the right week. They blank, obviously. Brentford, you're not looking at. Luca Dean, it's got to be right near the top of the list at the moment, hasn't he? Don't even mind Matty Cash as an alternative as well. I think Luca Dean's probably the one, isn't it, on your strategy? Failing that, Kieran Tierney, Rayan Aït-Nouri, Tyreek Mitchell, cheap one. There's a few names for you there. Region. And I'll answer this now because I'm sick of answering it, because I'd say it nearly every week. Tottenham play Man City on the Saturday in 26. They play Burnley on the Wednesday. They play Leeds on the Saturday. And although not confirmed yet, I think they might play Middlesbrough in the FA Cup on the Tuesday. Sergio Reguilón is not going to play all them games. So he's a rotation risk. And the reason he's a rotation risk is not because he's not first choice. He is. It's the sheer amount of work that he has to get through Antonio Conte's tactical system. He has to play as a full-back in without the ball. He has to play as a winger with the ball. Therefore, I don't think he'll play all the games, which makes him, if you want a doubler in 26 or a guaranteed starter in 27, he's worth avoiding. Right now, the most locked Tottenham defender would appear to be Christian Romero. He's 4.8 million. It wouldn't be of interest to me. Next, Warnock says, finally selling Bernardo. So who are the best replacements? Is Foden too sideways? No, I mean, I'm intending to move Bernardo on as well. The strategy plan going into this week would have been to move Bernardo to Mo Salah, which I can do. I don't think it's worth the -4 though, when I think I'm probably 40% Salah starts, 60% he doesn't. I won't be surprised if he's in the team. I won't be surprised if he's not in the team. But I don't think it's worth the hit right now, personally. And I wanted to get Harry in and captain him because I think he's the best option available to me, because Kevin De Bruyne will block me off of Mo Salah. So Foden, yeah, absolutely reasonable. The Villa guys, depending on your strategy. Coutinho, Emi Buendia, if you want to save a little bit of money, is quite interesting. Rafinha might not look brilliant at the moment, but got double 26. Good fixtures after 27. I wouldn't be bothered about the fact they're playing Tottenham at home in 27. There's a number of options. If you fancy Phil Foden, I think at some point Bernardo to Foden is always going to feel sideways. So at some point you're going to need to pull the trigger. Now's probably as good a time as any if you want to do it. Luke Harris says, evening James, who do you think scores least points this game week? Gallagher, Edouard or Tierney? Cheers. Great pod on Monday, by the way. Thanks very much, Luke. That chip strategy pod, by the way, like, it's still going to be relevant tomorrow. That's why intentionally we didn't talk too much about players on that podcast. It's so that it's still relevant for people on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Who scores least out of them? Gallagher, Edouard or Tierney? I mean, if you're asking me to bench one, by default I'm going to say Tierney, but I think Wolves Arsenal might be 0-0. Hold on a minute, because I just had a potentially interesting DM. Check the quality of it. No. I'd bench Tierney from that. You can't bench Palace players against Norwich, surely. That's shite, isn't it, if you do that. Now, stream lagging. That's not good. Luke Hopkinson, James, in a pickle, mate. 2 free transfers. Would you go Gray to Ramsey or Elise or King to Edouard and roll one other? I'm just going to check the quality of the stream because it looks like it might have gone down. No, looks like it's moving okay to me at the moment. James in a pickle, mate. 2 free transfers. Would you go Gray to Ramsey or Elise or King to Edouard and roll one? I think if I had 2 frees, I'd gamble on Edouard, yeah. Elise, I'd keep an eye on in terms of potential impact of Zaha on that. Luke, that's what we've done. Steve Greenwell, James, you're a hero. I don't know about that, mate. I'm trying to do 2 things at once here, mate. Jordan, I've not done my other team either. Jordan Harrison, hi, James. Who to swap out of King and Dennis for Edouard? God, that's the bloody $1 million question, isn't it? Shit, it's horrible, mate. At the moment, I think I'd sell Dennis. But the thing is, I think Hodgson played a 4-4-2 at the weekend, and he could play Dennis on the right-hand midfield. He could even play Josh King on the right-hand side of midfield. Really don't know. Sorry, just checking in on something. I think at this stage, I would probably sell Dennis because of King's pens and stuff. The Twitter community would be please say I'm a grass person. Andrew Grundy says, hi James, start 2. Tierney, Dennis, DCL. Also don't forget to sabotage the West team. I did before I walked in this room. I said deadline's in an hour, gal. From that, again, I think I'd play the forwards. You'll know me, mate. Rishi Segal says, hi James, pick one out of Dallo and White for Alonso. Ben White, nah. I'd rather be finding the money for Kieran Tierney. Diogo Dallo might help you do it. I'd go Dallo, actually. Carl McGrath, Salah or Bruno? It's not straightforward as that, is it? What do you want to do, right? If I say to you Salah, who's your captain in Gameweek 25? This is not straightforward as that, is it? If you ask me in the immediate, I'm going to say, well, I think Bruno plays this week, and I'm not sure that Salah does. Then Bruno's got a double before Salah's double, so Bruno. FPL Invincible says, hi James, not sure what to do this week. Do you think it's worth a -4 hit for one of KDB or Kane and captain one, or avoid hit and bring Son for Bernardo? Son for Bernardo, quite like, to be honest. Sonny's decent. It's still a decent option. It's a brilliant FPL asset. He'll probably hit 200 points. You can captain Sonny this week. Luke Hopkins says, and also Jota, Bruno or Ronaldo for captain. Good luck, my friend. Thanks for the content. That'll be on the screen. The preference from them is Diogo Jota. Ragav says, hi James, whom should I go for a 1 week punt? Dean or Robertson? 1 week punt? Robertson. I think they'll both concede, but as you'll see on the screen to the left of me, I think Liverpool-Leicester might be quite high scoring, so the attacking return potential is there. Steve Grenwell, James, because of funds, would you drop Ronaldo to have Jota and Salah in your team for the 26 double? Yeah, but you can do that in 26, can't you? If you've got Ronaldo and Fernandes, you're not moving them now, surely. It doesn't really make sense. So, in 26, yeah, fine, drop it. FPL Kaka, hi James, Weghorst captain in 27 if they get a double. Prefer James Tarkowski, mate. Burnley's double would be Crystal Palace away and Leicester City at home. There are alternatives. Manchester United have Watford at home, so Fernandes or Ronaldo is going to be popular. You got Kane or Son away to Leeds. Ideally, you'd want the doubler, but is it worth it? You've even got Brentford at home to Newcastle. You've got Breuer at home to Norwich, possibly. City away to Everton. I think I had a look through and I had it bust on Cancelo at the moment for Gameweek 27. So, no, I don't think so. Maybe when it comes around I might feel different, but not at the moment. Alistair Coper says, hey mate, would you go for Diop or 8 Nori for the next 4 weeks? My plan is to free hit in 26 and 30 if that helps. 8 Nori a better FPL asset, but West Ham seem to have much better fixtures the next few. Yeah, but Diop going into that team means they can't fucking defend, mate. Definitely 8 Nori. No doubt about that, actually. No doubt about that. Zaris says, who to buy? Dallo, and to be honest, we don't really know the situation with Zuma. We assume he's not going to play tonight, but he might be back in the team by the weekend. We don't know what's going to happen there as it stands. Zaris says, who to buy? Dallo or Maguire? If I take one of those, who to play? Definitely Dallo over Maguire. Don't pay the money for Maguire. Man United defender, Region or Dawson. Greetings from Greece, my friend. From that, Dallo. Nigel Sam, hi James. Dallo and Saka, Martinelli, or Maguire, Varane and Martinelli. Dallo option, mate. Best of luck to you too, mate. Dylan Ferner Rose, hey James, swap Dennis for Antonio or Rafinha for Gallagher. Appreciate the content as per, my friend. Neither. Honestly, if that's what you've got at them, I'd roll right now. Roll. Gallagher, if you're looking for the double, remember obviously he'll be ineligible against Chelsea in Gameweek 26, so he'll only have one fixture. The other next four fixtures are pretty good. If I was investing in Palace's midfield at the moment, I'd rather buy Michael Elise, but I'd also want the information of what the impact is of Wilfried Zaha's return. So right now, wouldn't go there, mate. I'd roll, honestly. Tom Bolton says, best 4.5s to replace Lowton. I'm too depressed to think about it after that double clean. Ray and 8 Norrie, obvious standout. Diogo Dallo, another one. Tom Bolton said, that's what we've done. Nigel Sam, would you go Tierney and field 10 or take a -4 in 27 or go Saiss with less appealing fixtures but field 11 in 27 and maybe a chance for double in 27? I set up a prospective wildcard for now for the advanced tier patrons in a video I did for them today. And talked through what I would do if I was wildcarding now. And if I was wildcarding now, I would only field 9 players in Gameweek 27. So I think you know the answer. Pup says, hi James, thinking of doing Gundogan to Elise, worth it or better to roll a transfer? That's a more difficult one because we don't know if Gundogan's going to start, do we? Which is awkward. I think I'd be tempted to do that, but bloody hell, hands through your eyes if Gundogan's in the team. He's not in my predicted City team. John Robson says DCL or Kane -4. Not sure if DCL starts after Everton's good cup performance. I wouldn't buy DCL at this stage. Wouldn't buy him. The next 3 fixtures are decent, right? Newcastle, Leeds, Southampton. But he does nothing to help you in terms of the power players for doubles and stuff. And then they've got a rancid run. So if you're not free hitting in game week 27, then they walk into Man City. And the chances are you're going to have other fires to put out. So I wouldn't be going anywhere near a new Everton. I've just sold DCL. So Kane. Alistair Coper, when would you expect us to hear about the potential doubles in 27, 28 and 29? Any chance we get most of them in one go soon? 27, to be honest, Burnley Leicester, I'd be surprised if they haven't announced it by the end of the week. I wouldn't be surprised if they've announced it by the end of the stream. Should be any time, really. Can't believe it will go on beyond this week. 28, if it's Chelsea Arsenal quite soon. 29, we might not hear about until just before 28. It's possible. James98 says, hi mate, do you think that's dependent on which fixtures go there? So if they put a Liverpool fixture in 29, you'll probably hear about it earlier. If they're going to bring, say, City Brighton or Watford v Everton forward, obviously it can't be till after the FA Cup quarterfinals. That's near the end of game week 27. So it would probably be on the Friday before game week 28 starts. James98 says, hi mate, do you think De Gea will be enough for captain in game week 25? Ask him because I might need to move for Bruno Ronaldo this week. If not, thanks. As it stands, my intention is to captain David De Gea again in game week 25. Multi, I just don't think Fernandes or Ronaldo. I don't want him in my team, Fernandes or Ronaldo. Even with them fixtures, I just don't want them, frankly. They're going to give me a headache further down the line. Multi, Live Evil, James Sanchez, Pickford, TIA, Cancelo, Laporte, Reguilon, Johnson, Bowen, Gray, Jota, Foden, Martinelli, Kane, Wood, Pedro. Thanks for the worst message I've received so far on the stream. 4.8 million in the bank. Whom to sell to get Salah, Jota or Foden? You want to get Jota now? I would. Salah's got to be a priority, so you've got to hold the money for Salah. So from that, I'd probably roll and buy him for Gray at the weekend. Would probably be my thinking at the moment. Jose Vargas, hi James. My team is Salah, Laporte, Foden, Antonio, and only one player on the bench. Would you roll or strengthen the bench? You should be absolutely fine there, mate. You should be absolutely fine. What you've more got to consider, Jose, is the weeks coming up where you've got obviously Arsenal blank next week. If you got any, how's that going to impact you? Have you got Brighton assets coming back? That might help you. Obviously, can't see your team, but my instinct with that is no concerns, mate. Even if Salah didn't play, Salah is going to play, even if it's as a substitute. He'll participate in the game. Pavanar says start King or Dawson the forward, mate, despite the correct score prediction. It's just my philosophy. Daniel Wevin says DCL, Dennis or Antonio to Kane. DCL, I think. Zaris says, what should I do with Ramsdale in the future? Backup goalkeeper is Foster. Do you think should stay like this or replace him with another goalkeeper? Smash the like button and subscribe, guys. Let's help James. I would definitely keep Aaron Ramsdale as it stands. Definitely keep him. I wouldn't say it's impossible that I buy Aaron Ramsdale in game week 26, my friend. So I would definitely be holding on to him at the moment. Jay says, who should I start between Cash, Diop or Dyer? Dyer's injured, Diop shit, Cash. Tom Campbell says, hey James, awesome pod on chip strategy, mate. Thank you. Hope everyone has listened. My question, how do you see Everton starting under Lampard? Well, intrigued that they went to a back three at the weekend against Brentford. They performed well. The fluidity of the team was much better, though Brentford are obviously one of the weaker teams at the moment. Very different atmosphere tonight at St James's Park. That's the game I really want to watch tonight, so I'm looking forward to seeing it. But that just might stiffen them up and give a bit more strength going to the back three. Must be said, if they're going to stick with that system, quite where Dele Alli and Van der Beek fit in, I'm really not sure, Tom. So I'm really intrigued, to be honest. Dennis Maximoff says, hi James, Kane or Ronaldo for Antonio? I've gone Harry, mate. I've gone Harry, so I got to advise the same, and I. Greg Simpson says, hi James, hope you're well. Buying Edouard for one of the Watford frauds up front. Pretty set in selling Dennis, or do you think I should bin off King? You've already answered your own question, Greg. Don't change your mind. Vivek Gore says, hi James, I don't have any Arsenal players and will probably not be using free transfer. What do you mean free hit in 27? Which Arsenal area would you consider defence or attack, and how many Arsenal players would you go for? Thanks. If I was wildcarding right now, I would have Tierney and Martinelli on my wildcard, and I would probably be set to be buying Aaron Ramsdale in game week 26. That would be my plan if I was wildcarding. I'd be looking to go free. And that's part why I would just go, yeah, fine, sod it. 9 players, game week 27. I'd have Ben Foster in goal away to Man United. It's better than a 0, isn't it? James Brennan says, as it stands personally, I'm probably going to have David De Gea in goal that week, I should imagine. James Brennan says, hi James, I have 2 free hits and can get 11 players for game week 27 and 10 for game week 30 with my planned transfers. Why are you planning game week 30 so dirtily right now, when suddenly if Liverpool lose to Norwich it's a different game? Don't overthink that right now, just be aware of the possibilities. I'm thinking of free hit game week 33, wild card game week 34, bench boost 36. When is the best time for the other free hit? 27 or 30, mate. Still, legitimately, unless your squad is in a position where you look at something and go, oh Jesus, this is a shit game week. There are going to be random doubles pop up all over the place. I don't like free hit 26 because I think most people should land quite well anyway. So 27 or 30 is still going to be right. Don't block yourself into game week 30 by, I can get to Leicester players and I can have 6 from Villa and Arsenal, and you don't need to be like that, mate. So free hit 30, I think. If you can manoeuvre 27 well, free hit 30. Rob Tilson says, Fernandes to Salah for exact money. I also have Ronaldo for the double next week. To me, that sounds like you keep both of those for the double in 25 and you move Fernandes to Salah in 26. You manipulate another transfer that makes sure that if Salah goes up a little bit in value, you can still buy him. Eshan says, play 2. It might be, for example, buying Breuer in 26 might work for you. Downgrade one of the forwards at the same time. Roll the transfers. You're going in with 2 free transfers. Downgrade a 6.5 to Breuer. Allows you comfortably Fernandes to Salah. Eshan says, play 2 of Davis, Gray, Dennis, King. It's the forwards, mate. It's always the same answer. Even the 2 shit ones. All 4 of those players are on the bench in dilemmas if you have a look through, mate. Ludwig said, I'm keen on getting Kevin De Bruyne captain for Mount before switching to Fernandes next week. Worth it, or should I just get Dean in for Alonso or just roll and start Soufal instead? I'd be quite happy starting Soufal tonight. But yeah, get KDB in. Captain, mate. If you can do it and you're happy to then go, right, you're switching to Fernandes, but then what about Salah afterwards? That's the only thing, Ludwig. Otherwise, yeah, crack on, mate. It doesn't work for me. Doesn't mean it can't work for you. Adam says, would you still triple captain Salah if you knew he'd be benched against one of Norwich Leeds in the double game week? Yep. Yep, I would at this stage. Bench boost not going to work for me. If I was wildcarding now, I'd set up for bench boost game at 26. Personally, I think it's a great opportunity to use it if you're setting correctly for it. Yeah, I think I would. I think I still would, yeah. Because I don't think the remaining triple captaincy options are that great. Salah's not going to have a better opportunity himself. That's clear. You're looking at like Villa away, might go in with something else. Man United's a fixture that will go in. There ain't going to be better opportunities. I know he got a hat-trick against United before, but it's very unlikely to happen again. There would be other opportunities for Salah, but to be honest, if you were going to end up captaining a player in a single game week this season, you would probably go Mo Salah at home to Norwich or Leeds would be right near the top of your options. So I think, yeah. You said to me now, 120 minutes. Yeah, let's crack on, let's do it. I think he could break Leicester in 20 minutes on Thursday. Jay says, 4 minutes late, buddy. I always am, mate. I always am. Lewis Bowman says, best defenders, 5 million or less. Kieran Tierney's not in that bracket anymore, is he? 8 Nori, Dallo, repeat answers. FPL Finding Glory, mate, brilliant podding. You think I'm finished? Question. Well, I did cut it into the intro because I thought it was good as well. 1 free transfer, Rudiger out this week, or roll transfer. Currently only have Reguilon, Cancelo and TA as Cucurella not playing. I think move Rudiger on. But what I can't see the reason to, even if it was to get someone ready for 26, say you wanted to go like a Tyreek Mitchell for something, and you probably would start him against Norwich, but say you wanted to go down that route, I think probably do it. I can't see the reason for rolling, to be honest. Can't see the reason to do that. Javier Alcachar, James, oh no, you were out of the England Cup, Tottenham Cup, and let's talk FPL Cup because of only 27 points last week. Such is also out of West Ham Cup. Fucking hell, someone playing me a violin, will they? Miena Sidom says, hey James, would you do -4 for Maddison to Son or Bruno or Salah? And which one? Good luck. Right now I'd go Maddison to Son and hold my horses on the other one. Patrick Lawson says, worth using my free transfer on Brownhill to Elise? Yeah, why not, Patrick? You'll feel better about life if you do that, I think. Oliver Jacobs says, bring Kane captain in for Antonio or Dennis. I would not want to sell Antonio with them 3 fixtures. Wouldn't. They're still a very good team. Watford and Newcastle at home in 2 in the next 3 game weeks. What a great single game week player to have. You might be better off doing nothing. It depends. You definitely keep Dennis for 26 if you're not. Then it's an obvious bin Dennis, isn't it? The immediate one to answer that is bin Dennis. Maybe you might want to go Antonio to Dennis in 20. I'm going to say bin Dennis, to be honest. Blue Nix 99. Evening, James. How would you feel about rolling a free transfer with TA, Cancelo and Dalot, no backup? I think you should be absolutely fine, mate. There's never a guarantee with Pep, but honestly, I think you'll be fine with that. Rose Mendez says, James Darling. Oh, hello, Darling. Calvert-Lewin will be angry on you now after trashing him out. Standard. I mean, to be honest, I got him in and the bloke missed the fucking penalty. He said, fuck all for me, mate. Avis says, hi, James. Mount and Alonso to Son, Captain and Dean. I'm deliberating on Dean or Dalot. 2 versus 3 fixtures, but it's Dalot nailed. Is it nailed? No, not for the double, he's not. But I think he's first choice at the moment. Luca Dean's probably as nailed as you can be, but it's beginning to look like no double coming up for Villa, but brilliant fixtures. I think, to be honest, push come to shove right now, I'd be buying Dalot, I think, of that. But I do think Dean's a great option as well. You might find the benefit, Avis, of saving the money as well on the tight call. What else does that do for you in the future weeks? I'm probably going to say Dalot, mate. Josh says, Bernardo and Antonio to Salah and a 4.5 million forward -4. Christ almighty. I'll play Dennis then over the 4.5 million forward. Don't be buying a 4.5 million forward at the moment. Look at a different manoeuvre to get Mo Salah back in 25 would be my advice. Lexa Steeleman says, Bernardo and Antonio to at least get to Adamida, 4.9. Lexa Steeleman says, Bernardo and Antonio to Son and Edward. Thoughts? Bernardo, pretty annoying, haha. Do you need to go Antonio to Edward to get Son? Bernardo to Son, yeah, fine, great. I think that's crack on. Even Johnny said that on COTC last week. It's frustrating, like, move him on if you want to, basically. If you've got to do both, I'm not massively keen on moving Antonio, as I said, mate. Not massively keen. Ben Murphy says, why do you have Son so low on captaincy? Look at the names above him, mate. Where should he be? Where should he be on that list? Honestly, if anybody wants to captain Heung-min Son this week, thumbs up. I've got no problem with that. But I don't actually see how I put him higher than that at the moment. When Kane's, right now, he's on it. And remember, he's just come back from injury. So Tottenham have got games coming thick and fast now. Now, if the game's won early, could he come off before an hour? Possibly. That's why, Ben. Andy Cairns, good luck with the Harry punt. Good to see some different choices this week. Absolutely brilliant for the game and see so many people doing so many different things. It's great. FPL Kaka, starting King or Ida. If I had Ida, I'd start him this week over either of the Watford forwards. Honestly. Stian Bosdell, like and subscribe, you ding-dongs. Cheers, mate. Eshan says, play Gator or David De Gea. I have Dalot. That's a David De Gea for me, mate. Matthew Hall, Dean in for Sufal for a hit. Would play him 24, 25, 27. Worth it. No, mate. West Ham got Watford at home today, mate. Pup says, can you explain your thought process over having Ramsey so low on the bench in dilemmas? I've been considering him over King this week. Yeah, quite straightforward. My preference for forwards is a bias I have. Most people will know that. Also, last couple of weeks, he's been playing a deeper position since Coutinho has been introduced into the team. A lot of his job and John McGinn's job is to be very actively aware of the counter-attack, so Luca Dean and Matty Cash can push forward. Doesn't mean that Ramsey won't chip in with goals, particularly in a game like tonight. His midfield running, I admit, could work pretty well, but I'd go with the forwards. Ramsey I would predict to be a 2-pointer. To be honest, I predict the two Watford boys to be a 2-pointer, but that's the way I'm going. Hope that's explained. FPL Jab, start King on Mitchell away to Norwich. Forward. I think Norwich will score a couple of goals tonight. Or tomorrow night even. Michael Hewitt says, really like that Kane transfer, and captain James personally went for Elise in for Gray as a short-term punt. That's very reasonable, mate. Adam says, if your rank is suffering, do you reckon Mane triple captain Salah, Salah is worth a punt? No. I've tried that. And it really didn't go well. I can assure you. It really, really did not go well 2 years ago when I decided to do exactly that. Neil Kager says, awesome graphics, James. Thank you, Neil. That's courtesy of the man, FPL Captain with a K. Give him a follow on social media. He does a lot of the FPL community's graphics. Jamie Floyd says, hi, James. Would you bring in Dean for Alonso and play him over Moura, please, mate? Yes, I would play Luca Dean over Lucas Moura. Yes, he's an absolutely fine buy in place of Marcus Alonso. Dan Wheeler says, thoughts on Elanga for upcoming game weeks? No. I think he's a great price. I thought he was really good at Villa. We don't know obviously the emotional reaction to what obviously happened with the penalty miss on Friday and the really unfortunate abuse, disgraceful abuse that he received after the game. My honest opinion would be that Sancho and Rashford start tonight. That's the way I think United will go now. So by no means nailed. I would say at the moment it's a no. If he starts tonight and he plays well, it might be something you can look at as a cheap option for 25. Don't do it now is what I would say, Dan. Praise says, hello James, how's the day been? Manic. Who do you think is a better Villa option? Buendia, Ramsey or Coutinho? And is any of them worth a -4? I'm going to say no to the -4. I think Buendia's at a lovely price, 6.2. Not that Coutinho's overly expensive. So I think either of them. I mean, Ramsey, by the way, is still the best sub 5 million midfielder by an absolute mile. If you want to set up for a 4-3-man midfield, then he should be part of a lot of teams at the moment. But I think the moment for him might have gone, possibly. It would need. You've got Leon Bailey's nearly fit. You've got Bertrand Traore coming back from AFCON as well, and it muddies the waters a little bit. So more info would be important, not the -4. If I was buying one right now, I think it would be Buendia. Ricky Donahoe says, morning James, I have a question from my missus. She is bringing in Kane and needs to know who of DCL or Antonio to drop. Same one as what I've done, Ricky. You know the answer by now. Praise says, thinking of bringing in a Man City midfielder, Mahrez or Watkins. Which do you think is better? Riyad Mahrez. Pain. The midweek man, and it is a midweek. Does he play tonight? I haven't got Mahrez in my predicted City team. I've got to say Watkins. Jay Barker says, evening James, would you sell Emil Smith-Rowe for Salah now or roll and take Gray out for him next week? I think that's a roll because I think if, let's say Saka got injured or Odegaard or even Martinelli, then the door really opens up for Smith-Rowe to potentially be a really good asset in the next couple of weeks. So I think I'd roll on the small chance of that happening. So yeah, that's the way I'd go. It's interesting that you wouldn't sell Gray now, but you would before playing Leeds. I'm not sure what the thinking is there, Jay. Just give that some second thought. Ragaf says, hi James, thanks so much for the Chip podcast. I honestly believe your attention to detail and dedication is different level. FPL content go with a hashtag. Thanks so much, mate. Smash a like while you're here, mate. I mean, if you like that podcast yesterday, smash a like as well. Be appreciated. Chad Damon says, start Ramsdale or Pickford. Ramsdale for me. Why you got Pickford? Ramsdale. To be honest, Pickford is reasonable for the next few years. I'd go Ramsdale. I backed Arsenal 0-0. I back in Everton 1-1. So there's the answer. FPL Ibro. Hey James, good luck this game week. Martinelli, Ding, King and Dennis. Choose 3 to play and bench 1. You do not have Dean or Martinelli on your benching headaches. Very true. I do not have them. But I do have Emil Smith-Rowe. I assumed that most people would just play Luca Dean and wouldn't be in that quandary. So I am going to say, because of Wolves' stodgy defence, I'm actually going to say bench Martinelli. Dylan says, evening James, going Sterling is a love a gamble in these mad game weeks. I wish you luck, mate. Like, honestly, it's fine. It's absolutely fine. You crack on, mate. Good luck. JMA543. Hi, James. Love the content as always. How come you have the Watford strikers ahead of Gray when you predict Everton to score but West Ham to keep a clean sheet? Because I often get predictions wrong. Simple as that. Simple as that. I often get predictions wrong. And it's because of that I have a philosophy generally to, in most occasions, to go with a forward. There'd be certain ones, so like if you said Tony or Gray, I'd say Gray. Because Tony's got Man City. But generally, I will normally say the forward. I also don't know where Gray's going to play. I'm certain it will start, but I don't know where he's going to play. It's a little bit off-putting. That means it could be great, it could be terrible. FPL Rover, do you think Smith Rowe has lost his place in the 11? Or has he been receiving reduced minutes more because of the groin niggle? I've not got him in a predicted lineup for Arsenal this week. But I wouldn't be surprised if he's in it. I think we're coming into a period where Arsenal might rotate a little bit more anyway. Double 26, possible double 28. It's not an asset at the moment, is he? But again, another week of fixtures. You've got Xhaka and Partey just coming back into the team now. So Thursday night might give you some more information. Tom Spain says, which one shall I bench out? Rafinha, Dean or Watkins? Christ alive. Look at Dean, mate. Meninda said, sorry if I missed it. Do you plan to cap Salah if you bring him in next game over United double game week player? At the moment, my intention is to captain David De Gea in game week 25. I've done it before. And a lot of people had worse weeks than me. It didn't go spectacularly well. But as it stands, that's what I think I'm going to do. Yeah. Josh L says, Captain Salah, given that I'm so sure he gets 30 plus minutes and will do damage. Crack on then, Josh. He's on the captaincy metric. He's fine. If you really believe, like if anybody's listening and genuinely thinks they are certain that Mo Salah would start, my advice to you would be captain him. When else is it going to be such a good differential if you're right? But personally, I don't think it's worth it. And I'm more leaning towards him not starting than starting. Sumyajit says, Ronaldo and Foden to KDB and Edouard for a -4. Already have Bruno. Sounds like a lot of forcing in there to get KDB. And right now, no, I would leave. If you've got Ronaldo, keep him at this stage. Jose Vargas said, could it be worth carrying Alonso until game week 28 if you're free hit in 27? Would only miss 2 fixtures. Yeah, it's one potential way of looking at it, mate. But is Marcus Alonso even nailed on the other side anyway? What are Chelsea doing with that at the moment? Reece James and Rudiger would be better shouts at the moment. The switch to the back four isn't necessarily good to Alonso, and that's what they've been doing a bit. They've been using Malang Sarr there a lot. I don't know if that's going to stick or not, but I mean, it's too long. Rudiger, if you were in really good bench shape, I could say, yeah, you got the value. You definitely want to keep him. Alonso, less so, I think, mate. Alistair Hargreaves, DCL out for Edouard or Region out for Dean or Roll. Thanks, James. I think that's a roll, personally. NJ says, hi, James. In order to replace Bernardo and Bruno for Salah and Son in game week 26, I'd have to downgrade Antonio for a cheaper forward in game week 25, probably Fabio Silva. Is this a bad idea? No. Consider Adam Eder, mate. Alexandro Pickering, hi, James. Bench Martinelli or Jacob Ramsey. Cheers, fella. I mean, I'd play Martinelli out of that. Ashley Wood, João Pedro for free or João Pedro and Son, Kane and Elise, -4. Sell some for a -4. We're not doing that, are we? João Pedro for free. Jeremy George K. Hello, James. Do I play Dawson or Dennis? I'm going to go with a forward. Sheila says Bernardo to Fernandez worth a hit. Not for me. I haven't done it. Colin Bugler says Captain De Bruyne. Nothing else for me. Just here to hit the like button. Thank you, Colin. Good luck, mate. Coolio 2 breaking news. I don't know what that's in relation to, but Aman Khan says, it was probably nothing in my DMs. Aman Khan says, hi, James. Thanks for your help. I'm moving on Gundo to Elise. Would you play, loses his place on the page, would you play Dallo away to Burnley or Cash at home to Leeds? Thank you. I'd probably want to live a little and play Cash, although I think Dallo probably outscores him. Make of that what you will. Field Buck, play King or Ramsey to forward. Alan Holohan, Must definitely get a load of new viewers every week that still ask me questions like that. I'm nearly always going to say the forward. Alan Holohan says, I might change my strategy next year, just confuse you all, game week 1 next season. Watkins or Coutinho? No, Coutinho. Alan Holohan, would you sell either King or Dennis for Kane for -4? At this moment, no, but I can't answer that without knowing your strategy. Do you still want them in game week 26? That's where the answer is. So right now, probably no. Plus, which one are you even selling? Who's your captain this week? There are so many spin-offs to that, Alan, that it's not a straightforward answer that I can just say, yeah. Kevin Ryan says, thinking past this week, do you think Veltman is fairly nailed at the back for Brighton? You mean the Joel Veltman that didn't start at Tottenham at the weekend? So they played a back three in the first half. Veltman played right wing back. Cucurella played left-sided centre-back. Switched to a back four in the second half. He came on later in the game. Nailed. I went over this with Joel Veltman last week. It's not nailed, mate. Michael Flattery is keen with starting, or should I sell Alonso for Adine or Dallo and start over Kane? I mean, I'd be looking to move Michael Keane on personally, but with Ben Godfrey ruled out for sort of 4 to 5 weeks, Michael Keane's an almost certain starter for Everton tonight, Michael. So that might answer the question for you. Poe says, hi James, to start, Shaw or Ben Davis, please? Shaw. Mr. Anderson says, hey James, are you really confident Leicester scoring 2 versus Liverpool? Yeah, I'm just not confident that Leicester can keep Liverpool to less than 5. I just think it'll be a high scoring game. Had a 3-3 draw in the Cup. I think the game will be very different to the league game that we saw in Boxing Day. I think Leicester do have good attacking individuals. I generally think, yeah, Leicester might get a couple of goals. I would absolutely not consider benching any Liverpool players. But yeah, why not? Should we have boring 1-0 predictions every week, or should I put one out there and go, do you know what, guys? I think this is going to be high scoring. I'll probably watch Wolves v Arsenal, by the way. Rowan says, hey mate, would you start King, Region or Martinelli? I don't need to answer this, do I? Anybody who's got any questions where it's start the forward or start the midfielder or defender, I'm going to say the forward. Nearly all the time. So the answer is Josh King. Harif says, hi James, Dennis Alonso to Kane, captain Tierney -4. I quite like that though, getting Kieran Tierney in. Just reconsider your strategy going forward. I don't know if that impacts you badly for game week 27. But as -4s go, moving forward through the weeks, yeah, I quite like that. Addy James says, is Dallo for Rudiger a good transfer? What happens if I say it's a bad transfer? Yeah, it's reasonable, mate. FPL, great name. FPL Tidy Butt. Have both KDB and Kane. How much further ahead do you think KDB is than Kane for captaincy this week? Oh, mate. I wouldn't put nearly nothing between Kevin De Bruyne and Sterling. I think KDB's a standout where if you've got him, you go for it, I think. By the way, get your teams locked in, guys. Like 13 minutes to deadline. If you haven't submitted your question yet, I've got no chance of getting to you, I shouldn't think. There's not a lot between them, mate. They're all very good options, and there's more good options than them 10. Foden, Mikel Antonio, some might even think Dominic Calvert-Lewin, Ollie Watkins. So many good options. Bruno Fernandes isn't on there. So many captainable options this week. Marcus Rashford, if you think he's going to start. So many options this week, honestly. I've got to do something with this shit team of mine. Let me just have a quick check with DMs. Cool. I think he says, I've got the spinning wheel of doom. That's never good, is it? Here we go. Who's sending me message requests? Boyle Sports Partners. No, we're not partnering with a gambling company. Fuck off. Berticus. Hey James, 2 free transfers, but have Sanchez and Backman in goal. Do I move Backman to Foster or go without a keeper and use transfers elsewhere? 2 free transfers. I mean, with 2 free transfers, I'd definitely get a keeper, mate. At that stage, I'd get Foster in. Personally. Get Foster in, then you've got a keeper that doubles in 25 and another keeper that doubles in 26. Seems quite straightforward to me, mate. I'd definitely make the change. Owen O'Neill says, no clutch Morpay return this week. Good luck this week, mate. Morpay, honest to God, on the team that I drafted, I said if I was wildcarding now, Neil Morpay would be in it. If I was on wildcard, I'd go with him. I'd go with him for a couple of weeks. Go for this. I'd leave him on the bench this week. I'd have him ready for the double 25 and see how I felt afterwards. I'd probably bin him because I'd be sick of him. Mark, yeah, nice surname. Sorry, I can't pronounce that, mate. My English isn't great. Dean or Region? Dean. Ricky Donahoe, start Dennis or Bernardo Silva? Very, very good. Bernardo Silva. It's different because we're talking about Man City players. It's a completely different kettle of fish. Oh, crap. This looks a mess again. Let me set a captain. No, you need to change your team, don't you? Mahir says 2 of Dallo, Tierney, King, Cash to start. I would personally I'd go King Cash, I think. I'd live a little, even though I put the other 2 for clean sheets. State of it. David Hunter, hi James. Really fancying benching, boosting in 26 now. My team's doing good for it, and it's a good chip to get out of the way, right? Listen to yesterday's podcast, mate. If you're set up, great, absolutely fine. And honestly, as I said, if I was wildcarding now, I'd be trying to set up to do exactly that. It's absolutely fine, mate. Because I think most people are going to land quite nice for game week 36 anyway. Alex Allegretto, have a great game with James. KDB captain for me. You too, mate. Hope the little one's well. Good luck, pal. Mikel Paulson, have 2 free transfers. Target out for Dean. That's harsh, isn't it? Not only did he get replaced at Villa, he's getting replaced in your fucking FPL team now as well. Shaw or Sanchez. Or Edward in for Dennis. You've got to go target to Dean, mate. Just for the crack. And then screenshot it and tweet him. Adam Maguire, I'm not reading out your team, mate, but thanks, good luck. Sakba Sios, Alonso out for Dean or Varane. Love you, lad. Love you too, mate. Varane's not a... Nah, just go even with the double. Go look at Dean, mate. Tom Hudson, hi James, love your work. Got to bench 2 of Antonio, Region and Dallo. Who would you bench? It's really close between Region and Dallo, to be fair. Really close. I'd pick Region, I think, just over Dallo. A little bit of a higher ceiling, maybe. Antonio would definitely play. 11 Iron Ross Kenny, hi mate. Would you do Antonio to Edward or Bernardo to Elise? Leave it alone. I'd leave it alone and roll, mate. Many M, start King or Madison. King, Adam Keen or... thanks, Adam. Appreciate that, mate. Siddharth says, hi, James. Son in for Sterling and captain, or Roll and Cancelo captain. What's wrong with Sterling captain? I mean, Roll and captain Cancelo, I think is probably the answer there. Ben Taylor says, should I bring Jota in for Bernardo or bank transfer and bring in Jota or someone else before game week 26? Salah not relevant here, is already in future plans. Okay, fine. Although I wonder what suddenly... I want Jota game week 26 now that the guys are coming back. What's made you... Now I want Jota. I mean, look, Jota is an upgrade on Bernardo for this game week. Put it that way. So, yeah, if you want to do it, crack on. Just feel like the moment's gone, really. I'd be looking at Robertson. The best 3 for me right now, again, if I was Trent, Robertson, Salah, be the way I'd go in. I'd arguably, if I was on wildcard, I'd possibly leave Bruno in there as a placeholder for 2 weeks for Salah. Ben Taylor, thanks. James, no, you're very welcome. Sunshine says, start Reggie or King. That'll be the forward. Matt Grimley, Veltman and Dean or Cucurella and Cody. Right, what do you want there, mate? Because if it's Veltman because it's nailed, that's a problem. Because I don't think he is. So if you need nailedness, and Connor Cody is certainly that, then it's the Cucurella and Cody option, I think. Not that I particularly love that. Alistair Hargreaves, is Dominic Calvert-Lewin going to start? I don't know, mate. I'm fatter than Frank Lampard. Don't pick the team, mate. Self-handy. Hi, James. Kane for DCL or Son for Sterling? Sterling at home to Brentford. We're moving that on. He stays for now, surely. It's got to be Kane, isn't it? FPL at fucking hell. Have a proper drink, James. FPL at Macizzi. Someone's going to clip that. Sorry, I butchered your name, mate. Thoughts on Mahrez for differential? Shit. That he could go off at any... If Mahrez played every week, being everyone's team, mate, who knows what's going to happen? I wouldn't go there. Meninda says, was DC out more about not wanting him in your team anymore or the lure of Kane? No, I wasn't bothered about holding DCL for the next couple of weeks because I said next 3 fixtures is good. I don't have that mentality where I'm like, oh, I've got to rage him out. I mean, I've kept the 2 Watford guys, haven't I? So no, it's strategic, and I was leaving myself in a position where if I went Kane for one of the Watford players, or Kane or Ronaldo for one of the Watford players, and then went Salah in for Bernardo, I've got enough to do that in like the next 3 transfers. I'd have been leaving myself in a position where I was quite tight for money, looking forward all the way to game week 28 when I want to steam into Chelsea players. And it's actually more that. It's more that I couldn't justify with no double all of a sudden, because obviously when I bought him, he was going into one. Just not justifiable. A regrettable transfer. It went against my philosophy generally not to buy players when they've just come back from injury. That's another reason why I'd favour Kane over Son at the moment. Son's just had a couple of weeks off with an injury, hasn't he? So, it's not a rage though. It's just the right one to move on in terms of getting the best of what I can get hold of in the next few weeks, actually. Mladen says, what's your plan to captain in game week 25? Wonderful pod on Monday, thank you. I'm not going to say that I won't buy Bruno Fernandes because I think Ronaldo, the moment's gone for me. Would only be a consideration, I think, if Kane got injured. Bruno, I could still buy. Bruno. Go Bruno 25, Salah 26. But generally, I think it's far more likely right now I'm going to buy Mo Salah for game week 25 and I'm going to captain David De Gea. It's generally where I'm at. Marquise, I feel even worse now that I butchered your name because you said great show. Thank you so much, mate. Ryan Hoffman says Alonso to 8 Norrie for a hit. Would start over Livramento this week or hold off for info. Just don't think it's worth a hit. Just stop. You want to take a hit for Ray and 8 Norrie. Is that really what you want to do? That's all I'd say to that, really. Yeah, I just don't think it's worth a hit. Gareth James says need to bench. It depends on your bench a little. I mean, have you got any bench cover? If you've got any bench cover at all, it's not worth it, I don't think. Gareth James says need to bench 2 a King, Dennis, Ramsey or Dawson. Currently on King and Ramsey. Any thoughts? You know my thoughts, Gareth. I'm going to say play the forwards, mate, like I've done in my team. I've got Ramsey sitting on the bench and I've got Diop sitting on my bench. The answer's on the screen, isn't it? British says, noticed how you powered through a coughing bout to conduct the People's Poll Pod. Hats off. Okay, I did, mate. If you haven't heard that, yeah, I really did. I had a bad coughing fit when I was recording with Aaron Lager, like 10 minutes in. I literally was thinking, should I like pause this and stop this? But nah, sod it. It's just one take. Let's get it done. Let's get through this coughing fit and let's make the edit easier for myself. Jim Pro 100 says, Foster and Rudiger to Sanchez and Cucurella. Foster and Rudiger to Sanchez and Cucurella. Now, you want to buy... Sanchez hasn't got a game. Why do you need to force that now? And hang on, Cucurella hasn't got a game. You've done me there, mate. Well played. No. I can't believe you asked that, and I can't believe I bought it. A man says KDB captain to Bruno. I'm shattered. KDB captain to Bruno, or KDB captain to Bruno to Salah in 26. Or just start with Bruno instead of KDB this week on wildcard. I don't like the chain. We talk about this a lot as a percentage. About 2 minutes to deadline, by the way, guys. In Sky Fantasy, this sort of move works. It doesn't in FPL because of the size of your squad, and the chances are, over the course of the 2 weeks, you're going to want to / need to change something else. So unfortunately, no, I think that doesn't work. It's part why I've not put KDB, because that's exactly probably what would have ended up happening to me. Or it was going to block me, because the other thing is, okay, Bruno's got a double. I'm going to sell KDB before he goes to Norwich. I think I could bear to do it. Nick7 says, looking great. Dennis to Kane and Maddison to Bruno. I presume that's a statement. Congratulations. Hugh Flatfish. Cheese and onion or salt and vinegar, pal. Salt and vinegar. Yeah. You need that when you open the packet and you get the taste in your mouth before you've even started. That's salt and vinegar all day long over cheese and onion. Deepak says, Son playing or not? Deepak, let me ask you, why would Heung-min Son not be playing? He played 70 minutes on Saturday, mate. And then Bain straight afterwards. Is Son likely to start, James? Well, why wouldn't he? Unless he's got injured in training today and I'm unaware. Thanks again, Adam. Keen on Rob Tilson. Great work as always, James. Hit the like button, not your own pets, people. That is such a shocking story. Thank you, Rob. James Vincent says, buy Salah or Bruno. I think I've talked about it enough, James. You might have probably picked up the answers by now. Aswin asks, his best replacement for Dennis. Anyone. It's a minute to deadline. Get your teams locked in, guys. I'll make it about 45 seconds or so. Get locked in. Best replacement for Dennis. Harry Kane. Well, I can't afford Harry Kane. What about Josh King then, maybe? Well, it's Watford side to side. Edward. It's not great though, is it? Just chill. I think it's not great because I'm not certain he's going to start all these games for Palace. That's the point. You've got Zaha back. You've got Eze getting fit. You've got Mateta's now in the squad. Benteke hasn't left. He's still there. They've got options. ABC says, just subbed. Good content. Start 4 of 8 Norrie, Dennis, Rafinha, Tierney, DCL and Watkins. DCL, Watkins, Dennis, Rafinha. It's good that, isn't it? Cheers, ABC. Laser, who would you start from Dean, Bernardo, Martinelli? From that, Bernardo. I think you leave Man City player out against Brentford who thinks he's going to start. It's the Man City player, Bernardo. Great Del Mondo, great work, James. Question I have, Rafinha, do I transfer out on wildcard for Elanga to cover next week and then just transfer week 26? Don't like that move, mate. As I said earlier on Elanga, the information tonight could be quite helpful, and I'm more thinking about buying Rafinha than selling him as it stands at the moment. That would be my take on it. Deadline, as far as I'm concerned, guys, is gone. Apologies to those whose questions I didn't get to. I'm going to jump through the questions. If anybody's got any non-FPL questions, feel free to pop them in the chat. I'm happy to cover them off for 15 minutes or so. Well, I tell you what's still to come on the Planet FPL network this week. Sky Fantasy Football tomorrow. Myself and Suj will be recording very early. Tweet will go out for questions tonight. It will be an early recording. Should have that out for you in time for sort of lunch tomorrow. Thursday, Clash of the Correspondents will be a Manchester United versus Brighton, with Is My Cat playing and FPL Seagull ahead of their double game week in 25. There will also be, there's a bit of an advance for next week. I did say on the pod yesterday, but for the YouTube viewers, perhaps if you didn't see it, 2 Clash of the Correspondents next week. Next Tuesday, Liverpool versus Leeds with FPL Loco Lord and FPL Tactician. And on Thursday, Arsenal versus Wolves with 3-5 Who and Bradley Parker. That's ahead of the doubles for those 4 teams in 26. What's still to come this week also? Friday, me and Suj will be back on the mics, probably in the Zoom studio, reviewing all the action that happens over the next 3 evenings on our Patreon network. My Ask James stream is a Patreon exclusive this week. That's the patrons on all tier levels. That'll be at 1 PM UK time tomorrow. On Thursday, we'll be doing our Tottenham podcast, reviewing the weekend that was for Tottenham and West Ham and the midweek that's about to happen. And on Friday, we will have our differential show, Gameweek 25 preview. If you want to support the content, visit www.patreon.com/Planet FPL. Do it because you want to join the Planet FPL community and because you want to support the content. Don't do it for any other reason. I do not claim to make anybody a better FPL manager. Right, let's get these questions in, guys. That's short and sweet because I'm going to repeat next week all on Saturday. Obviously, deadline stream 10 o'clock Saturday morning. I'll be here doing it. We are getting to the point. I've done every deadline stream so far this season. I don't know how I've managed not to miss one through Tottenham, but there's a few weeks coming up that might be a bit borderline. Probably not till after the March international break. I can tell you now, I'm not doing deadline stream game with 38 because I'm going to Norwich. I'm gonna do it like 24 hours in advance. Imagine I do the 37 weeks and miss the last one. I don't care. Tottenham's a priority. Right. Let's see who's in the chat. Andy Kens, lifelong salt vinegar man here, but McCoy's sizzling king prawn is just a different level. Andy, on my life, I had a pack of McCoy's sizzling king prawn yesterday. They are top banana, mate. Static says, thanks, James. You're very welcome, Static. Good luck this game week. Dylan Ferner Rose says, are you a modern art bloke or do you prefer the old stuff? When you say art, I presume you're not referring to paintings on the wall and stuff, because I mean, that, with respect, that wouldn't mean anything to me. Do I look modern to you? No, I wouldn't be up with any trends, mate. Not a clue with stuff, mate. I've just about worked out how to make like online payments and shit, mate. FPL Hitman says it's a miracle that I work this stream by myself. FPL Hitman says cheers, James. A1 as always. A1 is, but it was a shit band in the 90s. I knew this girl at school, and she claimed that she was dating a band member from A1, which would be right dodgy because we were like 14. Anyway, it wasn't true. It was made up. Love the Monday pod. Good luck, mate. Like and subscribe, guys. Thank you very much, brother. Joseph Vargas says, thanks for your work, James. I understand that this might sometimes feel like a grind, but you always take our questions seriously and genuinely to try to help. You're greatly appreciated. Joseph, let me be very clear. If it was that much of a grind, I wouldn't do it, mate. No one sits me and forces me to do this shit. If I said to Serge, I can't be asked to do that fucking stream, he'd say to me, don't do it. Honestly. So, I enjoy it too. It's just the grind when it's the repeat shit. Is Salah going to start? I don't know. How many times can I say play the forward? It's what I always say every week. But I know there's new viewers and what's not. And I have to try and remember that amongst my frustrations. But thank you. Immortal Techniques says, hi James, good luck everyone. Biker Grove or Grange Hill? Well, neither really. He heard Neighbours is getting cancelled. We was talking about Neighbours and Home and Away last, but I heard Channel 5 had dropped Neighbours. Not that I've watched it for 20 years. But that's sad. Didn't watch Biker Grove or Grange Hill. No lie, mate. At the time of day I'd have been outside playing football, mate. I don't watch that shit TV. Jay Barker says, what do you know about Harvey White and his potential? He's killing it on my Football Manager side. So he's a very good young talented central midfielder at Tottenham, for those who don't know. He had a loan spell at Portsmouth, which went quite well. The thought process was that he would go and have another loan this January, but apparently Antonio Conte didn't want him to go because he values him and rates him quite highly himself. Now, he's obviously behind Højbjerg, Winks, Skip, and obviously now Rodrigo Bentancur as well. So he's kind of fifth in line, but he's been on the bench quite a bit lately. He had a couple of games primarily off the bench in the Europa League last year. He's a good talent, good footballer, decent set piece taker as well. It's worth saying. It's central midfielder. I guess you would say in kind of the... I guess he's not that dissimilar to a young Harry Winks, actually. Winks was a more offensive player, actually, when he came through the system at Tottenham. He was a number 10, actually. White's not been that. There were similarities between the two players. He's got a chance. He's got a genuine chance of making it. He's a good young lad. His head seems to be switched on, feet on the ground. Conte likes him. I think he'll be in and around the squad a little bit more next season, actually. Promising player. Not ready for Premier League football yet, in my opinion. AD Tour says, hi James, did you notice if there was any difference with Brighton defendering without Dan Burn? Yeah, I think it'd be better. I've been missing Lewis Dunk, mate. Lewis Dunk. So I don't think it's going to make a huge difference because I think when Dunk comes back, Burn wasn't going to... I'm not convinced he was going to be first choice. As I said, he could play Cucurella left-sided centre-back. You bring Solly March in at left wing-back. You can do it the other way where they pull Veltman into a back three and obviously play Lampsey right wing-back. You could just play a back four and play Dunk and Webster. So I think Brighton have coped pretty well without the loss of Lewis Dunk. I think Adam Webster's been very good. And I think Burn's been decent himself the last couple of months. But I don't. It's not going to have a major impact on them. Adam Keener says, did you watch much of the AFCON? What did you think? It was hard not to be disappointed at the lack of goals. On my stream on Friday, I said, don't bother watching the final. Tune in 2.5 hours after kickoff and watch the penalties because it will finish 0-0. And I think it's quite sad that there were so many games lack of goals. I think one major reason was the quality of the pitches wasn't good. That definitely didn't help. I mean, even the final, the pitch that the final was on, it was cutting up everywhere. You could tell the quality of it wasn't great, so I don't think that helps. And actually, there were moments in that final. Mane missed a penalty early on. Both keep. I thought the Egyptian goalkeeper was great. I watched Bournemouth Wood, and then I turned it off when that finished and watched the rest of the finals. I mean, that was from about minute 55 or so. I watched I ended up watching a few of Egypt's games, not because of Salah, but because they kept kind of fucking extra time. I ended up watching a few of the games that went to extra time. In all honesty, that was about the most I saw of it. I don't know. It's interesting. I think I was interested in posing this as a poll during the tournament, but I decided against it in terms of does anybody think that anybody outside of Europe, Brazil, Argentina will ever win the World Cup? I'd be interested to see. You don't have to all put it in the chat now. Don't put it in the chat now. You can if you want to. I mean, interested to know what people would think, and I just mean ever. As far as you can see, like, I mean, I would have thought the most likely is USA, if they ever got themselves sorted out. But it felt like we were getting to a period with Ghana in 2010, Senegal 2002, where it felt like an African nation would perhaps really break out and possibly become a kind of regular last 16 quarter-finalist regularly in World Cups. And it's not transpired. Ghana had a spell as well. I mentioned Ghana, didn't I? It's not really transpired since, where you feel like Egypt, Senegal, these Algeria, other nations, they've got some amazing individuals. I think they'd be miles away from beating the top European nations at the moment, though. Unfortunately, I think that's still a long way off. Despite, I mean, we could definitely get more superstar players, I'd say, from Africa. The coaching level's improving. I think players are improving. I just think the standard in Europe is going up massively at the same time as well. God, I answered that long fucking way round, wasn't it? No goals. What do you think? Okay, 10 minutes later. FPL Escapades. Evening, James. Loved the episode on the upcoming doubles. So well covered. For those who didn't, it's obviously on YouTube as well, guys. Haven't heard or didn't watch the podcast yesterday. It is the most essential bit of Planet FPL content that you will listen to this season, as it stands. Because by the time I next cover it, you can all make your own hypotheses. I've done a hypothesis of what's going to happen left this season and talked about various chip strategies from that. It's one of the reasons on that podcast yesterday we didn't talk about Tottenham defensive assets and stuff, because I wanted it to be something that people could still go back and listen to after deadline, because nothing is going to change in the next 3 days that's going to change that. It's still completely relevant, even though there's be bits at the start where we talk about the FA Cup a little bit and some of the questions at the end, but the main chunk of it from sort of minute 10ish, 10 to 15 onwards up to kind of like the hour point is still absolutely relevant, and I seriously recommend that you either watch it here on YouTube or listen to it on one of the audio providers. It will be worth your while to just understand, even if you disagree with a lot of the things that I say on that podcast. The understanding is going to really help. If you're someone who really struggles with putting the kind of the pieces of the puzzle together in terms of future game weeks, it's really going to help you. Some of the predictions I've given on that podcast, they are definitely going to be wrong. 100% there's going to be some wrong predictions on there, but some of them will be right as well, and it will at least help you understand, like, game week 33. Never get asked about game week 33. It's crucial. Listen to the show. Nigel Sam says, who do you think are the worst player from every team so far this season? It gets harder for the bigger teams. Oh, okay, well, I don't mind that. Let's have a go. They have to be regular starters. No, you can't answer that. They'd have to be regular. Let's go with semi-regular starters. Arsenal. Aubameyang. It's got to be, isn't it? When he was, it's got to be, isn't it? Villa. Yeah, every time I see that Morgan Sampson, I'm not sure what he is as a player. Brentford. That's harsh to pick someone out from there. Fernandes, when he came into the team, was dodge. Brighton. By the way, Bissouma was so good on Saturday. He was absolutely fantastic. Brighton. Neil Morpay. Where's my Neil Morpay guy? He's the disappointment. Neil Morpay. Chelsea. Lukaku. Or Pulisic. The attacking players as a whole have been quite disappointing, haven't they? Palace. Let's say Gator. That's harsh. Excuse me. Let's say Gator. He's upset too many FPL people. Everton. God. Could name the majority of them. Let's say Michael Kane. Leeds, Daniel James, sorry. Leicester, Suyunshu. Liverpool, yeah, that is tough. Crap. Where do you even start with that from the regulars? I don't think I can name anyone from Liverpool. I guess Thiago is still a bit. I know how good he is, man. So maybe Thiago a little bit still. City, I guess Grealish, isn't it, at the moment? But I tell you what, I bet you this time next year he's firing. United, Bruno, really. Just on expectations, I think back to game week 1 and everybody screaming, you can't ever have an FPL team without Bruno Fernandes. And here we are, we've got double game week coming up and people are not sure if they want to have him or not. So I think from that perspective, Ronaldo has been disappointing. To be honest, the majority of the Man United squad has been disappointing this season, right the way up to Luke Shaw and Wan-Bissaka. David De Gea feels like the only one of kind of, if you'd said the first team like game week 4, David De Gea is the only one who's probably exceeded expectations, because I thought he was getting to a point where he was probably finished, and he's probably going to win United's Player of the Year again, actually. Newcastle, I'm going to say Kieran Clark, because he's been left out of the 25-man squad on that. He's brutal. Norwich, Billy Gilmore's been really disappointing. Really disappointing. Southampton, whoever's in goal. Now, actually, no, Foster's not done too badly recently. I'm going to say Adam Armstrong, I thought would do really well. And I'm not saying these players have done bad necessarily. He's not had great opportunity. I'm going to say Adam Armstrong. Tottenham, to be honest, you'd probably say Kane, I guess, if you're judging across the whole season. Watford, Troost-Ekong. That's a bit of Joe Amrabat. Whenever I mention him, he just can't deal with it. One of our patrons, a Watford fan. West Ham, Kurt Zuma, just because he's a wanker. Wolves, I'm going to say Dendonka, he's gone. Legs are gone. Good question. Patrick Lawson, what's your favourite type of pencil sharpener? One that you can see and the shit tips out. Fuck, man, 20 years last time I used one of them. Giacomo's, mind you, little one grows up soon again. Giacomo's and Bonnie says, if you had to go to war, would you go and die a hero or stay and live a coward? I'd probably stay and live a coward. I ain't missing Spurs, mate. Bonkers is good. Focal just raided your stream. Sweet. FPL Focal, I know he's doing great stuff. He's had a brilliant. Is he still in the top 100? He's having a fantastic season. I know that. Will Bill 2003. Not that I know what a particular raid is, but yeah, great. Will Bill 2003. You're free to get relegated this season. Norwich, Watford, Burnley. Ravine says, did DCL... I'm not interested in your FPL transfer now, mate. Sorry. The deadline's gone. Give me some peace. Andy Ken says, when you come into the Cotswolds, it's in June, Andy. I did say the missus asked. I did another podcast with the wife. Was it last week or the week before on our Patreon network? And she asked for feedback, and I was like, "Do you want to hear all the bad ones?" And obviously there was no bad ones. But I said to her, "You mentioned that you live local, so yeah, we sort that out, Andy. June. Don't ask me the week. I don't know, but it's in June." Jonathan Albert says he's actually. Do you know what? It's probably in the old time tree, isn't it? While you're here, I'll have a quick look. It's not like I'm streaming live or anything. Oh my God. I don't know how well this is going to come across, but I don't know if you can see that at all. Because you could probably just about get it. Oh. Oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. I don't want to phone him, mate, and feel bad. Sorry, but we'll laugh about it Friday. Give him time to recover. Oh yeah, I was meant to be checking time tree, weren't I? Sorry, I saw that message, Andy, and I just figured you lot would want to know and revel in Sudge's pain. I don't know what was he going to do? I'm not even sure, to be honest. He told me yesterday, but I can't remember. I was like listening to my wife. I was just pretending to listen, I think. Right, June. Let's have a look, Andy. Looks like Sunday the 19th that week, mate. We'll sort something out. We'll have a beer, mate. Jonathan Albert says, thanks for the stream, James. Kovacic got Premier League goal of the month, yet Ziyech got Chelsea goal of the month. Work that one out if you can. I can. Quite straightforward, mate. The Kovacic goal's better because it's so unique, and Ziyech's goal was a brilliant goal as well. But it's probably part voted on by fans, I'm going to guess, and it's against Tottenham, and they hate us. So possibly meant a little bit more. It was kind of the winning goal in the game, whereas Kovacic was to pull it back to 2-1. They were still losing, weren't they? That Kovacic goal was ridiculous. I mean, that's arguably goal of the season, isn't it, I guess? But particularly when taking the occasion of the game as well. FPL Hitman, on current form and squads, who do you think wins Champions League this year, and who winning would surprise you the most? I would be surprised if anybody won it that wasn't an English team or Bayern Munich. Generally, I'd be really surprised if like Paris Saint-Germain won the Champions League this year. Really surprised. Can't see it. So I think Bayern City would be a great final that I'd like to see. I feel like have they played each other since Guardiola went to City? I feel like I want to say no, or maybe in the group stage or something. I remember they beat him and Aguero got a hat-trick. One of the first years they got in the Champions League. But I don't think they've played each other recently. So seeing City against Bayern would be great. And I'd fancy one of them two to win it, personally. Jonathan Alba, that's what I've done. Thank you, Mr. Anderson. James, did Suj give you your Employee of the Month plaque yet for January? I don't think I won that one, mate. No, I wouldn't get nothing, mate. Aussie B, love the content as always, James. Joffy will be in a lot of people's thoughts soon. With Bamford indefinitely out and no striker signed, seems he'll get his chance now back from injury. Huge talent. I don't know if Joffy's a nickname for someone, mate. I've got to be honest, I don't know who that is, Aussie, and I'm not embarrassed to say I don't know who that is, mate. So do tell me. Amok says, is it true that Harry Kane used to be a keeper at Arsenal? It might be. I know he played for like an Arsenal's kids team. It was like 8 or something like that. Was he a goalkeeper? Wouldn't have a clue, mate. Dixie Normaz, James, I'm big Liverpool. What do you think about the title race? Is it over? Can Liverpool catch City? Is Chelsea still in it? Cheers, mate. Chelsea are out of it. I think the fixtures define that Liverpool still have a chance. But you're in a position now where if you lose a game psychologically, it's bad. I mean, if I look at your fixtures up to when you play Manchester City in Gameweek 32, you've got 8 fixtures scheduled, right? So there's a potential 24 points. I think anything less than 20 and you can't win it. I mean, you obviously need City to slip up, and City's fixtures, to be honest, you look at City's same fixtures, they're 8, and you'd be surprised if they got less than 20. So you've got to hang on, and being if you can. I think if you win the game in hand, you're 6 behind, I want to say. If you can get to the Etihad in Game Week 32 and you're still 6 points behind, you've got a chance. Then you've got to go there and win. Big task. But then, squeaky bum time then, as Fergie used to call it. Tom Barmer says, how will King and Dennis be affected by the return of Sarr? King, who had left, dead, Dennis central. I don't know. I spoke about it a little bit, Tom, that I'm interested to see tonight that I think Dennis might go right and King stay centrally with João Pedro, but that could easily be the other way round, by the way. They could obviously change it to a 4-3-3. Sarr is definitely going to come back in the team, so if Sarr comes in and goes on the right, presumably, is João Pedro then coming out the team and it's King Dennis through the middle? Because Sema probably gives them a little bit more defensive balance versus really wanting to push Sarr on so they can shove the system to convert from a 4-4-2 into a 4-3-3/4-3-2-1. It's really difficult to say, but certainly Ismaila Sarr, when he's back, he'll go in the team. It's going to affect someone. Bonjour says Uruguay in 1932. I can't remember what that's in relation to, but the first World Cup was in Uruguay in 1930, mate. Ravine says Ivory Coast had a spell for a bit, but shit show now. True. I mean, they were really unlucky in 2006. When I felt like that was the year where a few people were saying, yeah, do you know what? They could be like semi-finalists. I said that kind of noughties period. It felt like there was a real progression. They were really unlucky in 2006 that they fucking landed in the group of death, didn't they, with Argentina and Holland. Really unlucky. And I would say it was Serbia, Montenegro was the other team in the group, who they ended up beating in the final game. They came from 2-0 down to win 3-2. I want to say Aruna Dindan, who was at Portsmouth. He either scored 2 or 3, I can't remember. I think pretty sure he scored the winner. They were really unlucky to walk into Argentina and Holland in their first 2 group games, and that was it. It was over. Ravine Singham, thank you for that, mate. Appreciate it. Elfin Priest would say it's gone collectively backwards by the looks of it, this AFCON, to be honest. Federation massively let their players down in CAF. I mean, it's that as well. I'll be getting to the Comoros story with the left back in goal, so it was nice, but it's not right, is it? How did we get to that point? The quality of the pitches and stuff. Some of the COVID stuff that was going on pre-tournament, it did seem a bit messy. Martin Boyle, 2 questions. Do you think the FA Cup is better for having no replays? I'm going to answer that and probably get some more stick and say yes. Did anybody feel like the FA Cup was quite exciting this weekend? Well, I think that was one reason why. The jeopardy. Someone's getting beat. Let's get to it. I know and I get it that, like, if Kidderminster and West Ham had finished in normal time and Kidderminster would have had the replay at West Ham, I get it. They'd get a massive payday. I get it. I totally understand it. We were also this close to taking them to penalties and they might have won. They wouldn't have won a replay at West Ham, let's be honest. And then you've got the greatest shock of at least the last 20 years or so. Arguably the greatest FA Cup shock ever. Isn't it about the glory? Really? I don't know, and I get it. There's certain ones where exactly that, Kidderminster, if they'd had the replay at West Ham, make them a ton more money, replay probably on TV as well. I get it, but it just doesn't work anymore, unfortunately, unless they want to. The only way round, I think it really, if they want to get round having replays back in the competition, is need to have more fixtures earlier. So, like, go back to... We used to have a midweek set of fixtures in August. I don't know why we don't anymore. We used to have weekend, midweek, weekend. Like, bang, let's start. Get back to that. But we can't now because one team's in a Europa Conference playoff or something. We can't do it. It's ridiculous. Let them have the game in hand. Let's play some football. And it probably, unfortunately, people won't like it. But I think the only way around it now as well is the FA Cup has to start earlier. So I think probably have to have the 3rd round at the start of December. Shit. Because the problem is, once you get beyond the full front, you can see it now. There are no weeks for someone that's in like that Europa Conference. When do you play a game? It's impossible. It's impossible. Even before the COVID stuff, where they obviously cancelled the replays, right? And they're trying to fit fixtures in. I cannot tell you if Leicester drawn at Nottingham Forest on Sunday. I cannot tell you when they would have played. I've no idea. What were they going to do? Play on the 5th round midweek? When were they going to play the game? Was they going to cancel? Would they have had to cancel Leicester's game at Liverpool? It's got so silly in the scheduling. So it's got to go. Maybe there's a place for it, perhaps still in the 3rd round. But they reckon they're adamant that there will be replays in the 3rd, 4th round next year. But eventually, it's going to go. Unfortunately, money will talk with that as well. And the scheduling, it's more the scheduling talks even more than the money. Second question was, do you think the refs ref the game better with no VAR? Personally, I enjoyed the games more than the PL. That didn't really occur to me over the weekend, actually, which is good. I wasn't thinking about VAR. That was in use at the Tottenham game, I think, and it must have been at other Premier League grounds, I'm sure. Obviously, United feel like they got cheated. I spoke about that on a Patreon pod yesterday, by the way. No one was screaming Big Six bias when Middlesbrough got their goal awarded against Manchester United, were they? Interesting. I'd do away with VAR personally. Tashi says, hope Kane can do Kane thing. Yeah, me too, mate. Dietrich, I think Nigeria would have the best chance to win it from Africa in the future. They have a massive population plus good football culture. They just need to improve their infrastructure. FPL escapades. Magnus Coulson missed the deadline. Bloody hell. Maybe he's playing chess. Maybe he got stuck at the table. Josh says triple captain Robbo on the double. Excuse me, I don't hate it, but let's be honest. Why do you want to punch against Mo Salah for that week? Craig Boy Crook. Excuse me, what's your favourite quality strip, James? Oh, God, indigestion. The strawberry one, probably. Or the caramel or orange, or I'll eat more, mate, ain't fussy. FPL Kid, The Guardian has decided Hey Dougie is the best CBBS programme ever. Thoughts? And what's your favourite? Oh, woof! Yeah, Dougie's great. It was one of the first things Harry liked and stuff. Really good is Hey Dougie. There's some stuff in there that even adults can enjoy, and that as well. He really is brilliant. Not that I'm still sitting there and watching it now, and he's lost interest in it a bit. But yeah, Dougie's great. To be honest, it's great. T Robinson says Suj and Magnus Coulson have something in common this week. Then Neil Kiger says what's up. Louis Patel says couldn't see. T Robinson says Suji Spanner. The Hammer Spanner. He missed the deadline. Patrick Lawson, oh, Serge. Neil said, must have missed another deadline. Mortal Technic, oh, no. T. Robinson. David Monday missed the deadline too. Him, Serge and Magnus. Fuck's sake. David Mundy's the manager of the South team for Gameweek 39 as well. Jesus. Bonkers good. With Messi, it's a given. RCB. Gelhart. Sorry, mate. Yeah, nickname I use for... Oh, sorry, mate. I wouldn't have known that. Good talent. I was really impressed with him when he played at Tottenham. When we played Leeds earlier in the season. Certainly looks a talent. Hopefully Leeds get themselves safe where we can see a bit more of him. Frostbite says, is Bruno essential next week? No one's essential next week, mate. Bonker is good to win the FPL pot noodle. DCL benched. Oh yeah, team's out. Might as well do that, haven't we? Well, I'm still going with it. God, this has been a long one, hasn't it? I'll drop you my thoughts on the three teams we've had so far. Let's see what we got. I mean, that feels kind of justified. On the advanced tier Patreon stream we did earlier, I explained my reasoning why I thought Calvert-Lewin would be a sub. And yes, he is. It looks like a back three for Everton again. It looks like Andros Townsend at left wing back, judging on how they've set the team up. That might not be true. It could be that Holgate or Coleman play left back in a flat four, but the way they've set the team up, I'd be surprised if he changed the system. I guess Gordon maybe could play left wing back, might be an ask. Newcastle. That's a shame. Gimenez is a sub. I was really hoping he was going to play, so watch him tonight. Matt Target does start for Newcastle. The Watford team is in. Dennis and King are in it. Foster's in goal. That's Paul all you care about. I think I want to say that's not unchanged. Tom Cleverley's in this team for Ken Sema. Otherwise, I think that's unchanged. That might mean a slight change of shape. Not that Cleverley can't play wide. And for West Ham, we did think, Lanzini probably wouldn't start. Kurt Zuma is in the West Ham team. And I have to say I'm extremely surprised about that. Very surprised about that. That's the shock, actually. I know West Ham condemned it. I thought they would leave him out. Interesting. Even if it was just for the one game. So, was it Alistair Coper earlier asking about Diop? I told you, mate. Who knows? Don't go there. Adam Keno says, what's your favourite dinosaur? Pterodactyl, and I can spell it. Just don't ask me to. Andy Ken's highest captain player this week. I've captained. I think it'd be Salah. Honestly, did the yellow flag come off him or not? Maybe not if the yellow flag didn't come off. But I think it might still be Salah. Failing that, I think it's so open this week. Might be Jared Bowen. He's so open this week. I'm looking forward to seeing the numbers and see what the split is. Because even on Twitter, you get that kind of Twitter herd mentality. Looking through tweets today, look like a lot of people doing different things. It's good. Jim Pro, best 3 players in Premier League who don't play for Big 6 teams. Declan Rice. It's got to be top of the tree there, isn't it? Rafinha. Them 2 standouts. Another one, James. I am going to say... I know who I want to say. I'm just going to give it an extra thought to make sure I'm checking myself. I'm going to say Yuri Tielemans. I think. I know he's had a disappointing little spell and he wasn't good Sunday. I think it's discussed with Aaron on the pod we released earlier today that it's probably almost definitely off at the end of the season, you'd think. But yeah. Giacomo, sorry to break it to you, mate, but Tottenham are one of the Big 6 teams, mate. Ravine Singram, agree with you. Cup games are cup games. Screw replays. Start FA Cup earlier. The FPL Wire, fancy Premier League. Check out the VAR implementation of Club World Cup, James. I think it's the future. I've been talking about this a lot recently, mainly on our Patreon network, saying I can't wait to see how this works. It's basically it's an AI system that's going to make offside decisions, and it should be fairly instant. And if we can get back to that, where even if it's a case of buzzer goes off on the linesman's flag and then he sticks the flag up, brilliant. In football stadiums, I need the visual to tell me whether I can celebrate or not. Don't like it. And if we can get back, if you can give me that one thing back where offside decisions can be instant, I am happy to keep VAR. That's the one thing I want back. How difficult it is when you're sitting behind a goal to try and even guess if someone's offside or not, especially if you're low. So, yeah, give me that and I'm well happy, guys. Dane Roos Snyder says, thoughts on VAR not all in the pen for Watford just before half-time in March with Burnley. I discussed it on one of the pods yesterday. It might have been the main pod we did, or it was our Patreon pod. That I was just got to Spurs when the incident happened, so I wasn't watching the game live. And judging by my timeline, I was like, wow, Watford have been denied a certain penalty. And I saw it and I was like, I don't know, sometimes you get that, sometimes you don't, was my impression. But it was like everybody was willing the Watford penalty, it felt like, on Twitter. So I wouldn't have been bothered if it was given, and I'm not bothered that it wasn't given, in all honesty. I think that's right on the edge of borderline. I don't think it's one you could say that's 100% right. I think that's the sort of one where that would be a proper VAR implementation. The whistle's gone for half time, keep the players down. And I don't know why referees don't do this anyway with VAR. When they make a decision like that, and they must think for themselves, I'm not sure. It's human nature, right? I don't know why they don't say, blow their whistle and say, I'm going to stop the game. I'm not sure about this. I want to look at that myself. Before someone tells him from up above, it's a penalty or it's not a penalty. Because we know that whatever they get told, they go with, right? Why don't he stop it himself, get nothing in his ear, and just say to them, do us a favour, I'm going to go to the monitor, put it on the screen for me. Let me have a look. That'd be better. FPL Escapades, think the fans will boo him tonight. Half the ground won't even know, because not everyone's on social media. And at the end of the day, he's wearing the shirt for the team, right? So, no, don't think they will. The opposition fans probably will. He's playing tonight, Watford. Mind you, they're harmless, Watford. Ravine says, how many hours a day do you spend on football, FPL, etc., mate? You're solid. Likes and subscribe, Ace. Cheers. It depends, Ravine. So, yesterday, I had 4 recordings. I got into work 9. Do you include things like reading on the way and stuff like that? I don't know if you want to include that. But that was my whole day yesterday. It was my whole day bar 1 hour in the middle. And I went to bed at 2:30 in the morning. So it's quite a long day. Admittedly, yeah, I was in my own house, right? Don't feel sorry for me. But I was doing things like spreadsheet for Gaffer Championship game. I actually wildcarded in that game for their deadline tonight as well. So I mean that's probably part choice rather than work, I'd say. So an ideal situation for me is get up, coffee, research, do the work, the pods, the editing, all that kind of stuff, and ideally you finish at sort of 5:30ish, 6ish. But it doesn't really. 6 to 8 I kind of never work because I try and spend time with the boy before he goes to bed, and then subject to what's happening, it's just work again. To be honest, the games tonight, even as an FPL manager, if it wasn't for the pod, I seen Gimenez is not in the Newcastle team, I wouldn't bother watching any of them games tonight. I wouldn't really care. But I'll watch something now because of the pod. So I don't know, is that work or not? It's still watching football. It's not work, is it? I'd say average for a day is probably 10 hours, really. 7 days a week. If you include all the nonsense of watching the games as well, it's 14 hours a day, every day, I guess. Please don't feel sorry for me. I'm absolutely blessed. T-Tac, how and why Zoom are playing? I don't know. You'd have to ask David Moyes. Alistair Kobe, avoided Diop in the end. Ronaldo on the bench, though, annoyingly, apparently. Fuck, I've had two escapes. FPL Wise saying Ronaldo bench. Florentine P. I think that's Florentine, one of our new patrons. Hope you're well, mate. Ronaldo benched as well. I take it that's tweeted by Rockstar. I'm not overly surprised. I mean, it certainly justifies the Calvert-Lewin to Kane transfer. The fact that Calvert-Lewin and Ronaldo are benched. They'll probably both come on and score now, and Kane gets sent off. But that's good. If the Furies, I didn't think Ronaldo would be benched. In all honesty, I actually thought he'd play all 3 games this coming week. Personally, be interesting. I mean, the chances they'll probably be better without him. Thing is, he's 37. What are we expecting? But it does make his double prospects far more attractive now. Joshua Webb saying I've got DC on Ronaldo. Alistair Hargrove, so you work is FPL. Yep, this is full time now, mate. I'm very blessed, supported by our patrons, allows me to do it. So I'm very blessed, and I'm thankful to the guys who support our content every day for allowing me this pleasure to be able to do it. Ravine says, I absolutely don't feel sorry for you. I didn't know it was your full-time job. Good on you, mate. Living the dream. Thank you. So far, so good till Suj sacks me. But at least I don't miss the FPL deadline, right? I'll leave you there, guys. Thanks very much. Good luck for the week. Remember, the decisions are made. What will be, will be. Me and Suj will be back. Idiot. With the Sky podcast tomorrow for patrons. My Ask James stream. Deadline stream Saturday morning. Clash of Correspondence Thursday. United v Brighton. And Friday we'll be back with all the Gameweek 24 review of all the games. Honestly, if you have not listened or watched the podcast on Monday, stick it in your ears or view it tomorrow, Thursday, whatever. I'd highly recommend it, generally. And it's not often I'll say, please listen to my content, but for yourselves, listen to it. Have a great game week, guys. All the best. Ciao for now.